So we're now in 2026, which means we're in the 6th year of the 9th generation of console. Both the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 will turn 6 years old at the end of this year, which is a pretty insane thought. That time has gone incredibly fast. Over the past couple of years, rumors have been hitting up suggesting that the next generation, the 10th generation of consoles, the new Xbox and the new PlayStation, could possibly launch at the end of 2027 next year. Typically, the lifespan of a console lasts about 7 years before we receive the next iteration, but a lot of people are asking themselves, are we really in desperate need to receive the next PlayStation and Xbox just yet? In my opinion, I think that 2027 is honestly too soon. I think that end of 2028 is a little bit more comfortable. Give devs a little bit more time to cook up some good stuff for the PlayStation 5. This generation's been a little bit strange. There have been some amazing games, both first party and third party, but I don't feel as if there have been as many heavy hitters as there were throughout the 8th generation. However, I thought now would be the perfect time to go through my entire PlayStation 5 physical collection. I am a physical media head through and through. I try my absolute best to purchase my games physically. There is absolutely something more tangible about physically owning a video game and not just a license that allows you to download it from a server. However, I was meant to do this video about 2 years ago when we hit about the halfway point of the PlayStation 5 lifecycle. I just never got around to doing it, but it gave me more time to spend my money on plastic shells with a disc inside. I now have a total of 126 PlayStation 5 physicals. There is only 125 here as I have recently lent out God of War Ragnarok to a friend. I got a bunch of the typical stuff here, but I've also got a lot of hidden gems and also rarer physicals that are only purchased exclusively through specific websites. So let's dive in, but before we do, we've got a sponsored message. So I've actually got a pretty sweet offer for you guys. Now is a great time to jump into
Raid Shadow Legends.
Assassin's Creed is crossing over, starting now with 5 iconic characters from the franchise faithfully recreated into the world of Raid as usable champions. You can get Ezio for free by logging in for 7 days, along with even more free rewards from the Ezio Chase event. There's also a new event dungeon where you'll face off against Pontiff Augustine, where you can earn new chronophage gear and gear from other valuable sets. Plarium are kickstarting new players off with a bunch of juicy rewards. You'll get a sizable starter pack with legendary champion Karato, 2 epics, Uugo and Rector Drath. Plus, you can choose another legendary champion by redeeming a promo code. This is a great head start for those who are curious to see what Raid's about, but you'll only get these sweet bonuses by using my link and for a limited time. Raid has a ton of content to keep players busy, whether it be a lengthy campaign, dungeons to find resources to make your champions even stronger, faction missions, clan challenges, PvP arenas, along with regular events to ensure that dopamine keeps locked in. I've actually put in a decent amount of time into this game over the years, jumping back in every so often. Plarium are pretty generous when it comes to earning free rewards, so summoning new champions and strengthening them never feels too tedious. Scan the QR code on screen or use my exclusive link in the description to jump in now to take advantage of these head start bonuses. So we're going to run through every single game I own. I'm going to give some brief thoughts on each game. A lot of them here, though, I haven't actually played. My backlog is disgusting. And also, if there is a game here that I don't have physically, for example, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, it's because I own it digitally. So first up, we've got Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I'm a pretty big enjoyer of Borderlands. This was a cool little spin-off based on the Borderlands 2 DLC, Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep. They decided to make a full game out of it. Probably not as strong as your typical Borderlands, but still pretty good. Sifu! I still haven't played this, which is crazy because apparently it's incredible. Farmagia! What? So I think this is like a monster collecting farm sim action RPG thing? Beyond Good and Evil 20th Anniversary Edition. We're still waiting on number 2. That was announced like, what, 18 years ago? But yeah, Beyond Good and Evil, one of the classics from the PlayStation 2 and original Xbox era. This is slightly more on the rare side as it is a limited run exclusive. I try not to support limited run, but the thing is, they get first dibs on distributing so many physicals. The problem with Limited Run is mainly the quality of their collector's editions aren't generally that great, and they take so long to ship their games. Tales of Grace's F Remastered. I definitely want to play more Tales games, and I have been slowly collecting a few of them, especially for PlayStation 4. I've only played Tales of Arise, but apparently a lot of the older ones are really good, and right now Bandai Namco are going through an effort to remaster a lot of the older games. Still haven't played this, but we'll get around to it eventually. The Plucky Squire! Super cool little like puzzle platformer type thing. It's got this sort of 2D but yet also 3D, kind of think Paper Mario type art style. I played it with my girlfriend Cass. Super cool little fun game. Assassin's Creed Shadows. I was never really into the OG Assassin's Creed, but I like what Ubisoft did with the open world RPG ones, so looking at both Odyssey and Origins, loved them. However, I just couldn't gel with both Valhalla, and unfortunately, this one too. Castlevania Dominus Collection. I am trying to play more of the Castlevanias, mainly because Curse of Darkness is one of my all-time favorite video games, even though I wouldn't consider myself to be a Castlevania fan. So I'm trying to pick up the remasters of the older Castlevania games where I can. This is another limited run exclusive, and it contains the 3 original Nintendo DS Castlevania games. Excited to get around to this at some point. Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. This is the Unreal Engine 5 remaster remake of Ninja Gaiden 2. Obviously a fantastic game, one of the main leading mascots of the action hack and slash genre. I had to get this through Play Asia because I believe that physicals for this were only released in the Asian region. However, the entire physical is in English, so that is fantastic. Ninja Gaiden 4, I still haven't played this, but I cannot wait to finally get around to it, mainly because Platinum Games are responsible for this game. And apparently it's amazing, so excited to play it at some point. Silent Hill F, yet another game that I still haven't played. So cool to know though that Silent Hill is back and stronger than ever. Number 2, the remake was utterly fantastic. This is a brand new entry, and we also know that 2 other Silent Hill games are currently in development. Townsfall, I believe, as well as a remake of Silent Hill 1. Expedition 33, I still haven't played it! Uncharted, Legacy of Thieves Edition. Not exactly like, whoa, hype over Uncharted, but they are pretty cool games. I mean, it's part of Naughty Dog's history. I'm a massive Jak and Daxter and Crash Bandicoot fan, so I like whatever Naughty Dog pumps out most of the time. Crazy Chicken Shooter Bundle. I don't know why I've got this. Just a random cheap obscure game that I saw for like $15, so I'm like, f it. I actually played through this on stream and got the platinum. It's shovelware. Lords of the Fallen. Really wanted to like this game even after the 2.0 update. I just cannot do it. I like most Souls-likes. I like the concept of a dual sort of mirror world thing where you can switch between the two in real time. Kind of cool. But I do hope that the second game, due to come out this year, is a step up from this. Octopath Traveler 2. So I'm not exactly a big turn-based fan, but I adore Octopath Traveler. The first game, the second game, I'm still yet to get around to playing Zero, but number 2, simply fantastic. Absolutely one of my favorite turn-based titles. Death's Door, an indie type of Zelda-like coming from Devolver. Still yet to play it, but apparently it's pretty good. Destroy All Humans 2 Reprobed. So yeah, this is actually sealed. I had no idea. This is actually still sealed. So obviously, I haven't played it. But yeah, the Destroy All Human games from the PlayStation 2 generation, fantastic. Looking forward to playing this eventually at some point. Goat Simulator 3. Every gamer needs this game as part of their video game collection. A cool sandbox, piss around game where you play as a goat, you do random missions and quests, explore, f*** around, it's a good time. Wolong, Fallen Dynasty. So this is coming from Team Ninja. I'm really excited to play this at some point. I just kept putting it on the back burner when it came out. It's apparently pretty good. Another Souls-like with a bunch of unique ideas. Team Ninja always, for the most part, like follow through, especially if we're looking at the Neo games. We've got Neo 3 coming out this year, but this is something else that they decided to do, so can't wait to play Wo Long at some stage. SpongeBob and the Cosmic Shank, I haven't played it. There's honestly so many games here that I just have not played. I buy them and then they just sit on the shelf. It's so cool that Purple Lamp, the guys responsible for remastering Battle for Bikini Bottom, have gone on to make 2 brand new 3D SpongeBob platformers. The Callisto Protocol, a lot of people really hated this game, and I suppose it's because a lot of people went into it thinking this is going to be Dead Space. And it is kind of Dead Space, though the combat system doesn't really feel as good. It's actually incredibly unique, the way in which the dodge system and the combat system all kind of works. It's a little bit rough when you first start off, but as you get used to it, it's actually really cool. The horror elements in this game, super tight. It's that space sci-fi horror type setup. I thought it was fantastic, honestly. Medicine. I don't know what this game is. The publishers randomly sent it to me. I got an email and they're like, hey, do you want a free PlayStation 5 game? I'm like, sure, why not? So they sent me this and a t-shirt and like a keychain or something. I don't know what this is. No idea. The First Berserker Kazan, one of my favorite Souls-likes from 2025. Super good, coming from Nexon. Was not expecting it to be as good as it is. Quite difficult. A little bit faster paced than your typical Souls-like. If you're into the genre, absolutely pick this one up. Forgive Me Father 2. This is an indie boomer shooter. It's got a really cool 3D yet hand-drawn art style. Trials in the Sky or of the in the Sky. First chapter. So this is a remake of the very first Trials game. Is it Trails or It's Trails. This is a remake of the very first Trails game, and is actually one of the highest rated video games of 2025, would you believe it or not? So apparently it's pretty amazing. I've been meaning to also dip my toes into the Trails games. I'm yet to play this, but looking forward to it at some stage. And apparently the developers are also remaking the second game, so it looks like this is going to be an effort going forward where they'll be remaking a lot of the older Trails games. Ghost of Yotei. It's sucker punch, masterpiece, delicious food. Sandland. I actually quite enjoyed this. I feel like this sort of went under the radar when it came out. Of course, this is created by Akira Toriyama. May he rest in peace. This is one of his more obscure works, and for some reason, it got a video game adaptation. It's actually kind of cool, though the open world feels a little bit empty. I think large portions of this game just feel underbanked, but if you can find it cheap, it's actually a pretty good time. Neon White. This is like a first-person shooter parkour type puzzle thing, fast speedrunning indie game, something or other. I don't know. I found it really cheap. I think it's a nice little time waster game. Need to play it at some point. RoboCop. My dad was super into RoboCop. He thought it was the coolest shit of all time, so I kind of just bought this in honor of him. Apparently, it's just an okay first-person shooter. For those who are like big fans of the RoboCop franchise, apparently this is meant to be like the dream game. Finally, they got a cool video game set in the RoboCop universe. So looking forward to playing this at some point. You're gonna hear me saying that a lot. Looking forward to playing this at some stage or at some point. Can't wait to get around to doing it. I'll play it soon. Maybe, probably not. Star Ocean, the second story. I went years thinking that Star Ocean is turn-based, but apparently it is actually action RPG. And I even bought this thinking, okay, yeah, it's a turn-based title, but I'll check it out. Little did I know, apparently it is a 2.5D, like HD 2D action RPG. So that's kind of cool. Another game that's been sitting on the back burner. Can't wait to get around to playing it. System Shock, the predecessor to that of BioShock. I am the biggest BioShock fiend. I played a couple of hours of this. Definitely want to play a little bit more. System Shock's more immersive sim than it is just a straight up linear first person shooter like BioShock, but it definitely helps scratch the BioShock itch while we wait for both BioShock 4 and Judas. Reynardus. Yeah, Reynardus. I actually didn't mind this game at all. It reminds me of PlayStation 2 junk food. That's the best way that I can describe this. This is coming from a young, passionate director who is inspired through both Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts. And as we know, even Tetsuya Nomura sat down to talk about Reynardus with the game's director. Epic Mickey! Yeah, cool to see that this got a remake, again, coming from Purple Lamp, bringing back a lot of those classic platformers. This is just a really good Mickey Mouse game. I really hope that they decide to do a remake with the second game, but it is dependent on how well this ended up selling. And I've got a feeling it probably didn't sell too well. Valkyrie Elysium. This is another one of Square Enix's long-running franchises. Though it doesn't actually have a lot of installments, Square Enix finally decided to, a couple of years ago I believe, release a new game in the franchise, Elysium, which is actually an action RPG. And it wasn't good, at least from what I've heard. I haven't actually played it for myself, but the reason why I purchased this was because I wanted to actually try it out and to see if it's actually as bad as people say. Rise of the Ronin, yet another game that's just been sitting on the back burner, man. Need to get around to playing it. It's basically Team Ninja's Ghosts of Tsushima. Their own samurai open world title, but with that Team Ninja type combat system. Excited to play this eventually. Resident Evil Village. Fantastic game, though I definitely do prefer, I guess, the atmosphere and the vibe of 7 a little bit more. Though I will say, it was cool to see Capcom like re-attempting the environment and atmosphere of 4 again for a new Resi title, because this very much harkens back to like the vibe and the setting of 4. Horizon Forbidden West. I do like the Horizon games. However, I never ended up finishing this one. I think I got like 28 hours through and maybe I just hit like open world fatigue or something. So I never finished this. I have been meaning to go back to it since I got the PS5 Pro about a year ago. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. Finally, Insomniac delivered a really decent Ratchet & Clank game. Ratchet 2016 that came out on PlayStation 4 was okay, but it wasn't amazing. It wasn't really even great. Visually, it looked simply fantastic, but it wasn't a strong Ratchet & Clank game. Also, it started a whole new timeline and continuation. It wasn't part of any of the other previous Ratchet games. It was just kind of strange. So I'm thrilled to know that they nailed this one. And also, this continues after the events of Into the Nexus. Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, a remake of all of the older Lego Star Wars games, which most people will agree are the best Lego games. This took them way too long to bring this out though. I remember like 6 years ago sitting there with a friend thinking like, how cool would it be to go back and play through the Lego Star Wars games? Why have they not done like a remaster or remake of them? And they finally did. It just took them like way too long, but yeah, cool to have in the collection. Star Wars Jedi Survivor. The Jedi series goes f***ing hard. Super great action-adventure game set in the Star Wars universe. Looking forward to the third and final one. Dead Island 2. This was in development hell for the longest time. It released and I didn't like it. I couldn't gel with it. That absolutely sucks because I loved both the first game and Riptide. Demon's Souls. I cannot tell you how many times I have attempted to play through this game, but finally, 3 months ago, I decided, f*** it, I'm gonna do it, and I did it. And I absolutely loved it. Spider-Man. Every PlayStation 5 owner probably has this. Sackboy: A Big Adventure. I actually kind of like this. A lot of people didn't. This was a PlayStation 5 launch title, and it didn't actually come from Media Molecule. It came from, what, Sumo Sheffield? Sumo? Something like that. They decided to make a more traditional platformer game with Sackboy, which is a pretty cool idea. It's certainly no Little Big Planet, but it's a neat little platformer title. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Yeah, couldn't gel with this one. I am an absolute sucker. I am. I'm an absolute sucker. Pitchfork me, crucify me. Look, I'm sorry, I'm part of the problem, I know, but I really like these. Horizon Zero Dawn Remake. I got this really cheap, actually brand new, 20 New Zealand dollars, which I think equates to something like 11 US. It was brand new. I think that the place that I bought it from was in desperate need to just get rid of it. Maybe the person hated sitting there staring at it on the shelf. Or they just had like surplus supply, I don't know. I wouldn't have bought this anyway, but yes, again, I am part of the problem. Star Wars Outlaws. So, a similar circumstance to, I believe, Horizon Zero Dawn. I think that where I got this from, Mighty Ape just had way too many of them and they were not selling, so they had to get rid of them. I got this for $15. Apparently it has improved though through updates. A lot of people were really hoping that this would end up being super good, and it kind of wasn't. But I've heard a lot of people saying you should just give it a chance. It's improved since the updates, and it's actually not a bad game. Stray! I need to play this. My girlfriend keeps nagging me and nagging me. Can we please play the cat video game? I think if I leave it any longer, I'm going to get strangled in my sleep. So yeah, I'll get around to jamming it at some point. Darksiders 2 Definitive Edition. This was really strange. This got a physical release, what, last year? Just out of the blue. They're like, let's just make a physical release, a further improved version of Darksiders 2, which received a remaster years ago. I think like, what, 9 or 8 years ago? Let's just do another one for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, and that's exactly what they did. So I'm like, hell yeah, I love Darksiders. Also a new one, what, Darksiders 4 is currently in development, so fuck it, why not? Let's get this once again. Porekeeper. This is another game that I found very cheap. This is like a Stardew Valley-like. So if you're into the farming sim type thing, then you'll get a kick out of this. Apparently it's really good. Gears of War Reloaded. I cannot believe I am actually holding this, and this is like a real thing. This is literally Gears of War in a physical PlayStation 5 case. It boggles my mind. Shadow of the Damned. Do you guys remember this game? Goes hard. And it got a remake. This is yet another limited run exclusive. It is a classic from Grasshopper. Fantastic game, over the top, wacky nonsense. Lollipop Chainsaw Repop. Hell yeah. So what's crazy about this is I've only played the beginning portion of this game on PlayStation 3, so when I saw that this was getting a new version, I had to get it. Also, this is a limited run exclusive, so I had to wait like months and months and months and months, you know, as it goes. I still haven't gotten around to playing the new version, but look forward to it
eventually.
Sonic X Shadow Generations. This is a remaster of Sonic Generations with some additional Shadow content. Not exactly big on Sonic. I've played a handful of Sonic games in my time, like Sonic Riders, Sonic Heroes, Sonic Mania. That's probably about as far as it goes. What was that other Sonic game? Sonic Mega Collection or something like that on PlayStation 2? Anyway, I'm not really big on Sonic. However, Generations is often cited as one of the better Sonic games. And I did play a little bit of Generations back in the day, so thought, why not? Let's pick it up. Alan Wake 2. Cannot wait to play this, but yes, I have not played it. There's so much that I have not played. And speaking of games that I have not played, Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. Love the Dead Rising franchise, one of my all-time favorites from Capcom. I really hope they make a new entry in the franchise due to just how disappointing number 4 was. But yeah, this is a remakey remaster in the re-engine of the original Dead Rising, which the OG Dead Rising is still, to this day, the best one. But I'm yet to even dip my toes into this. God, that's painful because this game is so good! Elden Ring Night Rain. This is the multiplayer spin-off type thing of Elden Ring. It's certainly not like traditional Elden Ring, and it took me a long ass time to pick this up because I was so skeptical about it. I haven't played it, but it does look kind of good, but then like because it's like multiplayer focused, I wasn't really in a rush to pick it up, but I'll get around to it eventually, man. Scorn, a very obscure game. The only reason why I decided to pick this up was because of its art style. Very strange, weird horror vibe with a very strong influence of H.R. Giger. The world and environment of Scorn are heavily biomechanical, just like H.R. Giger's works. Otherwise, though, I've heard that this game isn't really that great. It's more of just like a visual experience. Armored Core 6. So this was my very first Armored Core game. There's a whole shitload of them, and From Software have been releasing them for an incredibly long time, since the PlayStation 1 generation. Super cool that after so many years they decided to make a brand new one, especially after the success of the Souls games. This is automatically going to mean that a lot of people that have been playing or got into From Software games through the Souls games are going to pick this up, and I did exactly that. This game is incredible. super, super good, and I hope that Armored Core continues going forward. I hope a lot of people ended up buying this to tell From Software to keep pushing out Armored Core games. Elden Ring, this is the Day 1 edition that comes with a few extra goodies, some stickers, there's a patch in there, and some art cards. I like how From Software do that with their game. This is absolutely the best game that I've played in the past 10 years. That's all I'll say about Elden Ring. Borderlands 3 and 4. After playing 4, I was feeling more Borderlands, and even though I own 3 on PS4, I managed to find a physical of 3 on PS5 for incredibly cheap, so I decided to just pick it up. It was actually going to be cheaper to buy the Ultimate Edition here with all the DLC, rather than buying the DLC for 3 on PS4. Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver. This is a hefty boy. This is the deluxe edition that comes with some extra goodies, but this is a remakey remaster of Soul Reaver 1 and 2. A fantastic action-adventure game. I'd love to see Crystal Dynamics return to Legacy of Kain, though I think for the time being, those boys are a little bit busy on the new Tomb Raider stuff. Dragon's Dogma. I really wanted to like this, and I just couldn't, but it's cool to see that Capcom are going back to a lot of their sort of like more obscure titles and doing new stuff for them. But hey, the case looks cool. It's got that lenticular cover. I like it when Capcom do that. House of the Dead Remake, an arcade classic. Yeah, that's all I'll say about that. Again, another sort of lenticular case. I like me some lenticular cases. I still haven't played it. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. Fantastic, fantastic action RPG. Cool to see more happening in the Grand Blue Fantasy franchise. If you have not played this game, play it. It is a fantastic action RPG. If you're a fan of Kingdom Hearts, if you're a fan of the Tales games, you'll be right at home with this. It is super good. Metal Gear Solid Delta. I really want to like Metal Gear. I have played both 4 and I believe 2 in my time. Didn't like them. This might just be the one that throws me into the pit of Metal Gear Solid. Daemon X Machina, another sort of mech suit type Armored Core sort of thing, except it's like anime and there's a little bit more like RPG sort of elements to it. I'm yet to play it, but apparently it is actually pretty good. This is a sequel to the original Daemon X Machina that came out exclusively on Nintendo Switch quite some time ago. Shinobi Art of Vengeance. Do you remember the OG Shinobi? Not the original, but the PlayStation 2 game? Yeah, one of the most nostalgic games for me personally of all time. I would play it endlessly, a demo of it on my PS2. And this is finally a new installment in the Shinobi franchise. This is a 2D platformer action game, and it is actually one of the highest rated games of last year. High on Life. So I picked this up recently because number 2 is coming out soon. It's a game that I've been meaning to play. It's one of those games that you're going to either like love or hate, right? Because it's got that sort of Rick and Morty type of humor that you'll find incredibly hilarious, or you'll want to end up gouging your eyes out. So it does have a bit of a mixed reception, I think, because of the humor that's in the game. And I have also heard that the first-person shooter gameplay of this game isn't really that great. It's serviceable, but it's not, like, incredible. But because I do plan on playing the second game, I thought I'd pick up the physical of the first. Klonoa! Oh, I love me some Klonoa, man. This is a remaster of 1 and 2. I believe physicals for this only released over in Asia, but I could be wrong about that. It may have been distributed throughout the US as well. I had to get this from PlayAsia. But yeah, Klonoa 2, I had a PlayStation 2 demo disc that had a demo of Klonoa 2, and I would just play it over and over and over, like again and again and again. I don't think this sold too well though, so I don't know what's gonna happen to Klonoa going forward. Don't let him die, Bandai Namco. Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition. One of the better DMCs, though DMC 3 is absolutely still 100% the best. Why is it taking Capcom so long to make the 6th though? Like, this game is as old as Kingdom Hearts 3 at this point. It came out at the very beginning of 2019. It was banging. It was incredibly well received. Why are you guys taking so long to make number 6? Do it. Final Fantasy VII Remake. I bought this digitally on PS4 and actually picked the physical up for PS5 last year because I never had a physical. So Final Fantasy VII, we all know it, we all love it. Awesome. Crisis Core. I love you. Yeah, Crisis Core goes hard. It's basically still the same game, but the graphics look better. Awesome, awesome game. You can find it so cheap nowadays. Final Fantasy 16. I like this. There are quite a few controversial Final Fantasy games, and this is definitely one of them. Lacks hard with RPG elements, as it's really more of an action hack and slash game. And yeah, I'll admit, that's a little bit disappointing, but this game is badass, man. Sonic Frontiers, this is another effort to try and expose myself to more Sonic. I don't know, I see mixed reception on this game. Some people are like, it's awesome, other people say it's another garbage Sonic game, so I don't know. I'll get around to playing it at some point to like form my own opinion. That might actually make for an interesting video. Sonic Virgin plays a Sonic game. Lies of P. So this is commonly cited as the best non-From Software Souls-like game. I wanted to like it. I put about 13 or 14 hours into it, so a decent amount of time. And I play most Souls-likes that come out because I am a fan of the genre. And there's something about this that I just couldn't click with. Like, it's good, I'll give it that, it's good, but I didn't find myself thinking, this is incredible. There is a sequel that is currently in the works. This was actually very, very successful for NeoWiz. So I don't know, maybe I'll try the sequel, love that, and then come back to the first one, I don't know. But I didn't really enjoy it. Gungrave Gore. I think that this is a remaster, or it could be an entirely new game in the Gungrave series? I don't know, Gungrave is an old, I don't know if it's an anime or a manga, or it is just a straight up old PlayStation 2 game. Anyway, I found this for incredibly cheap. It's an okay video game. It's pretty mindless. It's like this run and gun linear third person shooter type thing. And weirdly enough, this game is actually getting a remaster, or like a new edition that improves all of the problems with the game. I don't know. I played it for like an hour and I'm like, okay, cool, I guess. Resident Evil 4, the GOAT. Grand Theft Auto 5, it's Grand Theft Auto 5. Another Crab's Treasure. This is actually a Souls-like by Aggro Crab. You guys might know Aggro Crab from very popular multiplayer game Peak. Well, yeah, this is the game that came before Peak, and it's a Souls-like with a cartoon crab. I can't wait to play this. Forspoken! Yeah, the Forspoken. Digimon Time Stranger. Absolutely, hands down, the best Digimon game. I've played almost all of them, at least the notable ones. And yeah, Bandai Namco completely delivered with this one. Stellar Blade. Boobies. Space Marine 2. Badass. If you like Gears of War, you'll love this. Hogwarts Legacy. I have played all of 1 hour of it, and this is another game that my girlfriend keeps like hounding me to play because she's a massive Harry Potter fan. I know it's pretty good, so much so that, you know, obviously it sold a lot of copies. I think that there should be another one in development due to, what, 20 or 30 million copies being sold. It's a game that I need to really sit down and play through, but I haven't, which I don't know if that's insane or if that's idiotic of me, because apparently this is amazing, but I'm yet to do it. Judgment and Lost Judgment. So I went through this phase of trying to buy like all of the Yakuza games and the games related to Yakuza, including Judgment and Lost Judgment, and I basically did it. I am missing like 1 or 2 Yakuza games at this point. The rest of them are all on PlayStation 4. And one day I'm gonna sit down and play through the entire Yakuza franchise, because again, people rave and rant about it. Phoenix Immortals Rising. You can find this game for like $4 or $5. Crazy, because it is actually pretty good. It's certainly bootleg Breath of the Wild. This is Ubisoft just simply copying what is successful, but this is actually kind of okay. There was a sequel that was in development, but unfortunately it was cancelled. Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. So a group of indie developers banded together and thought, if Sega aren't going to give us another Jet Set Radio, f it, we're gonna do it ourselves. And yeah, that's basically Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. This is Jet Set Radio. As it turns out though, Sega are currently in the process of bringing back Jet Set Radio. Balan Wonderworld. Balan Wonderworld. Wu Chang, Fallen Feathers, a fantastic Souls-like and one of my favorite plays of 2025. Gex Trilogy. I love that I have this in my hands. I have a physical of all 3 Gex games. Gorgeous. Yeah, the Gex games are some of my all-time favorite platformers from when I was a kid. Enter the Gecko, number 2, is hands down the best. This is another, unfortunately, limited run exclusive. What's interesting about this is even though Square Enix ended up selling off Crystal Dynamics, they obviously still held on to the Gex IP, and Square Enix are listed on the back of the cover. Lost Soul aside, oh how we wanted this to be so much better than it was. The game has admittedly improved since its release, August of last year. However, it is clear that the devs of Lost Soul aside were just trying to overachieve a little bit too much for what they were wanting to do. Still, I will say it's a good action RPG and also a great hack and slash game. If, you know, you're a fan of just typical action RPGs or something like Devil May Cry, fast-paced action games, then you will get a kick out of Lost Soul aside. My recommendation is always buy this when you can find it for incredibly cheap. Atlas Fallen. I've heard that this game is just average, but it definitely harkens back to those kind of action-adventure games from the PlayStation 3 and 360 era. I decided to finally pick it up pre-owned about like 3 months ago for like $15. The Outer Worlds 2, I did enjoy the first one and I am looking forward to playing the second, as it's basically just an improved version of the first game. There were parts of the first game though that I was a little bit disappointed with, and maybe that's because I went in with the expectation thinking, alright, this is going to be Fallout or Elder Scrolls in space. It is, but just on a much smaller scale. This is coming from Obsidian, obviously, and not Bethesda. Pro Country. So this is a PlayStation 1 inspired survival horror indie game. This is an exclusive physical sold by Fan Gamer. I do like me some survival horror stuff from time to time, and I really enjoy that PlayStation 1 sort of visual aesthetic. Very cool, very obscure game. Turok Trilogy Bundle. Yeah, I remember playing Turok back in the day. The PlayStation 2 one, though, was the one that I remember the most. These are the first 3 games remastered. Pac-Man World 1 and 2. Fantastic platformers, especially the second game. I played the second game religiously on PlayStation 2. I played a little bit of the original version on PlayStation 1 as a kid, but bless Bandai Namco for doing a remastery remake of both of these games. Number 2 is just so good. Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, the Unreal Engine 5 remake. Oblivion was my very first taste of a Bethesda RPG, and since then I've been hooked. Any Elder Scroll, any Fallout, and even looking at Starfield, while it has its problems, I've really enjoyed. Chronos, The New Dawn. As I was saying recently, this is one of my favorite plays of 2025, coming from Blooper Team. These boys have been actually on the rise, honestly. Since Silent Hill 2, they've been just pumping out pretty good content, and this is something new from them. If you're into Dead Space or third-person shooter survival horror games, pick this up. Sea of Stars. This is me trying to expand my turn-based palette. This is an indie turn-based RPG with a very cool pixel art style. Need to play this at some point. Vanishes. I don't know what this is. I think it's an action-adventure game or action RPG or something. I found this for like $10, so decided to pick it up. And apparently it's got okay reviews, like it's not a bad video game, so Vanishes. What? Ghosts of New Eden! Fantasy Life I, the Girl Who Steals Time. So this came out, I believe, last year. It only physically released in Asia, so I had to get this on Play Asia. This is coming from Level 5, the dudes responsible for Dark Cloud 1 and 2 on the PlayStation 2, the very first games, which I am massive fans of. Level 5 pop up every so often with something new. Fantasy Life, I believe this game originally came out on the 3DS, so I don't know if this is actually a totally new version, or if it's the same game, just remastered with a bunch of new content. It's an action RPG, but with a lot of sort of like life sim elements also intertwined into it as well. Silent Hill 2, ooh, spooky, very good remake. Black Myth Wukong, loved it. Simply loved it. While the performance is a little bit iffy on PlayStation, slightly improved on a PS5 Pro, the game itself is actually incredibly good. And as we know, a sequel right now is currently in development. Penny's Big Breakaway. This is an indie kinetic platformer, so very movement orientated. This is yet another limited run exclusive, just another sort of obscure platformer that I'm sure not a lot of people actually know about, so decided to pick up a physical for it. Animal Well. This is yet another limited run exclusive. This is coming from Donkey's publishing company, Big Mode. I'm yet to play this, but apparently it is pretty incredible. It's a 2D adventure game that includes a bunch of puzzles, mysteries. It looks very interesting and quite obscure, but apparently it is highly regarded. Control. So considering that I am trying to get around to playing Alan Wake 2, I want to know more about this universe. It does seem incredibly interesting what like Sam Lake has created, so I decided to pick up Control. Even though I do own it for PlayStation 4, it was simply just going to be cheaper to buy the Ultimate Edition here rather than buying the DLC for the first game on PS4. So Control, and as we know, a new one is currently in development. Astrobot, incredible, simply incredible. AAA platforming goodness, it won Game of the Year, incredible. Returnal. This came out close to the beginning of the PlayStation 5's life cycle. A pretty cool third-person shooter roguelike. We don't tend to get a lot of AAA roguelikes, but this is one of them. And we know this year we are going to be getting Saros, a spiritual successor to Returnal. Dead Space, the remake. Fantastic remake of a fantastic game. Sadly though, I don't think sales were too good with this because EA more or less said, I think at the beginning of last year, that they don't have any plans to remake any more of the Dead Space game, which I know has killed a lot of people, including myself, because number 2 is so good. Ghostwire Tokyo. I feel like this game sort of went under the radar. It is an open world action game set in, obviously, Tokyo, coming from Tango Gameworks, the guys responsible for Hi-Fi Rush. This was the game that came out before Hi-Fi Rush, and it's actually really good. Maybe there just wasn't like much marketing for this or something, in that like not a lot of people sort of knew about it, I guess, but it was one of those games that I believe was advertised during the PlayStation 5 reveal stream, showing a bunch of games that would eventually release for the system, and this was, I think, one of them, so it instantly caught my eye. Very good game. I actually do want to go back to it at some stage. That's how much I enjoyed it. Atomic Heart. So this is a game that I followed from the very beginning of development through to the very end, mainly because of its very strange and weird kind of atmosphere going on, but also because it was inspired through BioShock. It really looked like Soviet Russia alternate history BioShock. Similar to Lost Soul Aside, when finally playing this, I was a bit disappointed, perhaps not as disappointed as I was with Lost Soul Aside, but for me, I felt like there just wasn't a certain level of polish that I was kind of expecting. The game feels a little bit clunky to play. It has these large, wide open areas that honestly do feel kind of contentless. I feel as if this game would have been better as a linear experience. However though, the game was just fine. Clearly though, it was successful as a sequel is currently in development along with a multiplayer title. Evil West, yet another sort of action shooter game that harkens back to the 360 and PlayStation 3 era of video games. Very cool, very fun, and you can find it incredibly cheap nowadays. Dying Light 2. So I loved the first game, simply loved the first game, and similar to Dead Island 2, this game also went through development hell. A couple of years back, the game finally did release, and I just couldn't quite click with it the same way I did with the first game. I do plan on going back to this though. There have been updates that have been applied, and also Dying Light the Beast released last year. Scarlet Nexus, perhaps the most underrated action RPG of this current generation. This game came out and no one really talked about it. It just released and that was it, which is kind of strange because it released during a time where there wasn't too many games for PS5, so this was kind of perfect timing. I loved this, and I recently went back and played through it. I do plan on talking about Scarlet Nexus at some point soon. Deathloop. This is coming from Arcane, the guys responsible for Dishonored. Loved this game. Again, this came out during a time where there wasn't a lot of stuff to play. Far Cry 6. Didn't like it. And the lucky last right here is the Neo Collection. One of the better Souls-likes coming from outside of From Software. cannot wait for the third game very soon. Alright, so that's what, 125 PlayStation 5 physicals. That is my entire game collection, and I guess in a way it sort of provides an idea as to what my gaming tastes are. Believe it or not, I don't just play Kingdom Hearts, but there are so many games in here that I just haven't played that I need to find the time to sit down, sacrifice a few days, and bang them out. If you've played any of the games that I've showed throughout this video, be sure to drop some opinions and some thoughts about them in the comment section down below. And also drop some recommendations. If there is a PlayStation 5 physical that I'm currently missing, or a game that I absolutely need to play that has a physical, let me know. Thank you so much for tuning into today's video. Be sure to slippity slap that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Big shout out to my wonderful patrons and YouTube members. I hope you're all having a fantastic day, and we'll talk again real soon.